On today's Dev Hangout, we'll be going updates to our various programs. We'll talk with one of our community members who's building actively, and we'll go over updates from the DevRel team. Today, I'd like to bring up Tom Humber, who is our growth manager at Midnight. Tom and I have been working together on the Build Club, where we have various teams, take them through an 8-week program, and try to help them get prepared to pitch in front of investors and get everything they need to run a business. So, Tom, can you tell us a bit about yourself, about the Build Club, what the progress we're making, and what to expect next?
Yeah, of course. Brilliant. Thanks, Jay. So nice to meet everybody. My name's Tom Humber. I'm a growth account manager at the Midnight Foundation, and I've been here for around a year now. Previous experience in crypto, worked at Parity Technologies in the Polkadot ecosystem, spent some time building my own stuff, and done some consulting work here and there as well. And before that, I was a quantity surveyor, cost consultant in the construction industry. So very different two lives there. So yes, we want to talk today about Build Club and why it's important for what we're doing here at Midnight. Midnight in itself is a very nascent ecosystem, and part of my role is to work with existing partners that we have, right? So be it grant recipients who are building key infrastructure, applications, which are building the next generation of privacy-preserving apps. But then we also have everything that Jay and Lauren do in terms of the DevRel funnels, right? So, the education with the Academy, the Aliit program, taking up hackathons, grassroots builders, taking them all the way through. And what we really want to achieve with Build Club is effectively that kind of bridge between, okay, you've done a fantastic job coming through, learning about Midnight, maybe you've built your first smart contract or application, you've got a really cool idea that you want to push out there, but you're a small team. I think teams these days we're observing a lot smaller with AI coding, and you've got the world at your fingertips now. You don't need to have a 20-person team and to raise eight-figure checks to make your business successful. You can do it with a lot less. So what we're really trying to do at Build Club is give 8 weeks of hands-on support from myself, from really a non-technical go-to-market perspective, and then Jay coming at it from the technical side. And what we want to do is be an extension of the team and go deep. I've done a lot of accelerated programs, run them, but also participated in them as well. A lot of them are pretty impersonal. I think what Jay and I are building with our pilot cohort is something pretty special. First name basis with all of the builders, getting down and dirty. It's not a case of just like, show us what you've got. We want to be involved as well. Okay. And the energy on the calls, I have to say, have been fantastic. You've got the guys sharing. Sometimes it feels like a therapy session as well, because you have a lot of things that you don't think about so much, really, or it doesn't really get spoken about as much when you're building a product by yourself. It can often be a pretty confusing and sometimes lonely space as well. So, and oftentimes you have another job as well because you need to pay the bills. So what we're trying to do with Build Club is not discriminate against any of that stuff. We're not even saying you have to be building on Midnight. This is for if you're building applications that involve privacy, we want to help you. If you're idea stage, POC stage, it doesn't matter. Come to us and we can accommodate you. We have a good selection of partners and mentors that come on a weekly basis and give masterclasses, workshops, AMAs. And then Jay and I, we're there in the chat. We're doing this on Slack at the moment. Probably going to bring it over to Discord for the first official cohort, which will begin in April. And the reason why I'm here today is that we are now recruiting. So if you are one of these people that has an interesting idea, I've already spoken to some of you guys from the community already, and it gets me genuinely excited. So please get in touch. We will share a link. There we go, Jay. Thank you. A QR code. All the more reason why I think we're going to do this on Discord and restream for season 1. This just is my first time and it seems very professional. But yeah, so that's what we are looking for with Build Club. I think that really covers it all. In terms of the content, you're going to be building your application with support from the DevRel team. We have technical mentors as well. That's an ongoing process as we go throughout. Hopefully you've already got something in your hands from the hackathons or education courses that we offer through the foundation. But if you don't, it's fine. We'll go through, stuff that gets glazed over really in terms of, okay, what's your problem statement? What's your solution? Who's your ICP? What's your total addressable market? We have a good amount of tools at the foundation that probably early stage teams can't afford, or it's a nice to have, whatever. We're opening all of that up. So I've been having great calls over the last couple of weeks with the teams about, okay, let's create BD targets. Do we want to target your first user bases in terms of user testing, advisors, investors, potential first customers on a business level? So I think that really does cover it. Please sign up. Please message myself or Jay. I don't know if you can see my Discord handle here, but if it's available somewhere, please message me. Really keen. And if you're enthusiastic and you're willing just to get your hands dirty, then we want you. It's don't worry about being the best coder in the world. It's the attitude that we're after with this. So yes, I'm going to stop talking. It always feels like you talk way more than you actually are when you do these things. But yeah, I'll just you, Jay.
Thank you, Tom. That was great. So anyone asking questions about the Build Club, there's a QR code that you can scan there that will direct you towards the application, and you can learn more about our programs, the weekly breakdown. It's been amazing working with the teams and working with you, seeing their ideas, and also looking through the assignments, because it forces people to think through, who is my actual customer, right? And when you talk to builders, a lot of times they're just like, this is something I wanted to build. But then you talk about who's going to buy it, and they're like, I have no idea who would pay for this, So working through those problems and getting them closer to an actual product has been really fun for me, and getting to know all of them has been amazing as well.
Yeah, no, it's been great for sure. And I think you hit the nail on the head there as well. It's hackathons. You have a lot of teams that are doing sort of 5 or 6 projects a year, 6 different submissions, and that's totally fine. But if there's an idea where you're thinking, I do want to carry this on, I want to see where this goes, we're here. We're looking for use cases ourselves. So please don't be shy and reach out.
Now, earlier today, there was actually someone who reached out about the Build Club and the application, and they were asking more so about the deck, right? Because they have some code, they've produced it, it works, it compiles, and then they got to the deck and they're like, I'm not exactly sure what to submit here. So can you give us a bit more on what we're looking for in those applications?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So really, it's a deck, if applicable. If that is you have to submit a deck, and that is a mandatory field, someone please do let me know, and we will change that. What I'm looking for really at a bare minimum is a team which is committed, and they have a firm idea. This might just be a one-pager of, hey, I've had this idea for what's one of my favorite projects that we've got at the moment, decentralized aircraft management, right? That really interesting project. It's a one-man band, and I just think it's awesome, and you get excited when you're talking about it, right? So in terms of the pre-work, we're really not trying to be exclusive. What I should have mentioned as well is that we're not exclusive in terms of who we are letting into cohorts, and we have to stagger this. This is going to be running concurrently every 2 months of the year. We are welcoming to all, but we are very, very strict in terms of our requirements for staying inside the course as well. We have weekly homework, keep up with that. If we can't see that you're progressing with this, it's totally fine. It happens, life gets in the way. We've all been there. But we have to maintain an element of quality. So we do remove people as we go through the weeks. I'm making this sound a lot more school-like than it really is. Join the course and see how laid back we are. And then at the end of the 2 months is the demo day. And so really what I would like to see is somebody coming in super raw to the program, right? And then at the end of the demo day, at the end of the course, that demo day, you've got maybe like a working POC, you've got a UI, you've got a recorded demo, you've got a pitch, which we've iterated on for 8 weeks, back and forth. You're going to do a lot of pitch practice in front of us and also your colleagues. We're presenting Build Club to the rest of the Midnight Foundation tomorrow, and we have some of the teams coming to talk to the foundation, the business unit. And for me, I don't want to talk too much about Build Club because it's not really about us, it's about the teams, right? So every opportunity, we're going to be getting you in those positions to practice. You have a full data room at the end. We'll give you aftercare as well. We'll make sure that's happening in the Discord. And then, yeah, we just want to be there to be a springboard. I think we're in a completely different phase now to say 6-7 years ago where, you had to achieve VC funding in order to be successful. I think now it's more about the astute founder, the one who knows how to use the tools at their disposal. We're one of those tools, and we're here to try and give as much as we can. So, yeah, I see people scanning the QR code, which must mean we're doing something right, Joe.
Nice. And I love that the group is really collaborative because a lot of developers are working in silos by themselves, and we're encouraging them to talk to their first customers. And what we find is that they're finding their first customers, but then in our group chats, we have like one team working on RWAs. We have another team chiming in saying, hey, I know people that manage different properties around the world. Let me connect you with them. So seeing that collaboration across projects too has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we've got D-Storage, which is a decentralized storage protocol, and I'd love to see Gabrielle's team be the first customer for the other applications that need it through Build Club. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we're really trying to foster as well. And those, people have been really kind in the words I said, and I think saying it's their safe space and whatnot. And sometimes you just need that. You need some people to talk to bounce ideas off, and yeah, no stupid questions. Midnight's new for everybody, right? So, yeah, come and find out.
Amazing. Any last notes for the audience, Tom?
I don't think so, but I just think reach out to myself or Jay, scan the QR code, sign up. We will start posting the content at some point. It's been very much a trial for us, this first cohort here, doing this internally at the foundation. Again, I love this setup that we've got right now. So maybe when the next cohort, we can start filming and uploading from here. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Jay. Really appreciate it.
All right, awesome. Thank you for coming on, Tom, and for sharing the progress of the Build Club and everything we're working on. It's been amazing. And I see Sages and Pages in the comments. You referred several people to apply to the Build Club. Yep. Thank you for putting me in touch with them. There's some really cool projects that are going to get into the next cohort, so I'm excited. Not only to see this one graduate, but to also see the next applicants. Well, thank you, Tom.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, now we covered the teams that are building businesses on Midnight. And now I'd like to go from kind of the bottom of the funnel towards the top and speak about some of our other programs. So to speak about our Aliit program, I'd like to welcome Sophia onto the stage. She's our developer engagement manager, if you haven't met her already. So Sophia, thank you for joining us. And let us know about the Aliit Fellowship for anyone who's new to the community. What are the recent updates and how can other people get involved?
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me. So the Aliit program is designed for those builders in the ecosystem who like to contribute with hands-on techniques, I would say. Of course, we are talking to devs on a daily basis, but we also see that there are a lot of folks who are not just doing the building part, but also like to contribute through education. They are advocating and sharing the great news and all the information that like the world needs to know about Midnight. And also those who are organizing events and bringing our news into the world. So the Aliit Fellowship is basically for these folks, and we basically graduated in a way that we just launched the first actual cohort, and now we are basically collecting the applications for cohort 2. I am going to share with you how you can apply. So what does it mean? If you are applying to the Aliit Fellowship, basically you're kind of committing yourself to contribute, and you can do it in multiple ways. You can either be, well, of course, by default, you are a builder, but you can either be an educator or an advocator or a community leader who is doing their stuff on a daily basis or a weekly basis, let's say a regular basis. And this way you can prove yourself and you can level up in the program. So from candidate stage, you can become a tier 1 or tier 2 fellow or even tier 3 with time. But basically the way it works is that in the past for application, everybody who was interested in joining the program had to collect 1,000 points in Zealy. This is no longer the case, so anyone can apply. All the applications are going to be reviewed. Like we are interested to see GitHub repos, links to previous events that you did, articles, everything that you can show to us. We are curious to see what you've done so far, and also would love to hear a lot about what you're planning to do within the fellowship. And then once you become a candidate, you will actually stay in Zealy and you will complete quests based on different angles. So you can do builder challenges, you can do educator challenges, you can do advocate challenges, and also community leadership, whichever you prefer in the time given. We are believing it's going to be approximately 2 months for the candidates. And then once you achieve 1,500 points, you will become, if all goes well, Tier 1 fellow. And Tier 1 fellowship opens up a whole new world. You will become a fellow. You will get access to a lot of different resources. Of course, there are some exciting rewards coming with it. So it's something that I think everybody wants to be part of. And yeah, if anybody is interested in joining, I think we are building something really exciting here. I cannot wait to see the contributions. It's so nice. For me, it's always so nice when I see the community members doing this by themselves, and we are obviously doing our part, but coming from them, it just shows how much they love what we are building here. So it's super exciting, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to evolve.
Same. It's been absolutely amazing watching all of the Aliit work, from code repos that other people are utilizing within the community, helping them within the chats get their dApps up to work. And just seeing different events also. There's people hosting events all around the world. There's people translating our docs like Idris over in Indonesia. So there's a lot of people doing really cool stuff. So I'm excited to see the next cohort and see what everyone builds. There's a lot more rewards, a lot more things that you can get, by participating in the next cohort. So I'm excited to see you all join. Now, I'm curious if you're in the group and you're watching this right now. Do you consider yourself a builder, an educator? Do you want to be someone who hosts events? Let us know in the comments. Any other things you want to share with the community, Sophia?
I think what's the best is to, first of all, apply, also to monitor our website. We are going to share a lot more about what the Aliit Fellows are doing. So you will get like a gist of what's happening in the program or as part of the program. And we are actually interested, like if you think that there is an angle that we didn't consider, for example, you are kind of doing technical sales, which is technical, but also a way of advocating, but very specific. Also, please let us know. We are very curious to hear. I think this is a very nice addition to the Night Force as well, because Night Force is focusing, the ambassadors are focusing on something else. We are very technical here. I'm super excited, and yeah, hope to see some very awesome candidates very soon coming in. So yeah, everybody, please apply. We cannot wait to see you.
Thank you. So if you haven't already, look at the QR code that we have currently posted. That'll bring you directly to the link to apply. I see some comments here in the YouTube. I'm a builder. That's awesome. If you're not aware and you are a builder and you're actively deploying applications, I want to encourage you to go over to our GitHub, submit it to the awesome dApps repo so that other builders can see what you're working on. Post it on the forum. I always look at the forum to see who I should invite onto these talks. And actually, the person who will be bringing onto stage later today, I met him through the forums on Twitter. He's always tagging me on different things he's working on. I love that kind of stuff. So if you're working on something you want to share, definitely reach out to us, promote it on our different channels, and we'll help you, bring more attention to your projects. So I want to thank you, Sophia, for joining us. And I think we're good for the next segment.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, so we've learned about the different teams building businesses and how you can get involved. We learned about our Aliit Fellowship and the updates there. Now let's cover some updates with our Academy. If you're new here, our Academy is a place for you to learn about everything we're doing on Midnights, learn about the technical components, and get credentialed for it. So I am super excited to bring up Idris. He is probably the most amazing person on our team, honestly, always pushing us forward, always challenging us to do better. So it's amazing to have you up here, Idris. Many of you already know him, but for those who haven't, Idris, can you introduce yourself and let us know what are the newest things with the Academy?
Hello, hi everyone. Thank you, Jay. Thank you everyone for listening and also joining us so far. My name is Idris. If you're meeting me for the first time, I'm on the DevRel team at Midnight Foundation, and most importantly, focusing on education and also empowering our builders and developers to upskill aggressively and particularly understand how to build privacy-preserving application. And this is in collaboration with every other person on the DevRel team, working with solution engineering team, working with the marketing team to make sure that we are out there and consistently pushing for the best to equip every one of us with what we need to upskill and also learning more about zero knowledge proofs and also ZK generally. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here to share another update regarding the Midnight Academy. Yes, I think we should have a drum roll. Yeah, so it's been a lot of work, and then we really sincerely appreciate everyone for the feedback. So when we launched the phase one and phase two, we had like incredible feedback from the community, which includes like the course content, how they find it very helpful, and also some of the feedback to improve both on mobile, the mobile experience, the web experience, some other things that we didn't pay attention to, but of course, that's why we have like the community to point out some things that we might have missed out, and then we've made sure that we implement all of those things. And then today we are introducing you to another phase as part of the building your first privacy application on Midnight, and most importantly the hands-on session that you can then get to try out these things practically, right? We've promised you we want to make you a full stack ZK dApp developer, and then we are all on that same journey. And then right now we have another module to push you forward on that path. So Sophie, can you please bring up my screen and then let's share what we have today. All right, so you might have seen this platform before. I know I've seen a lot of updates about certification, about completing phase one and phase two. I'm happy to share with you all that we now have phase three, which is available to anyone to try out today. Of course, we do share alphas on our Fireside hang. That's why you're hearing it first. Later on, you'll be seeing announcement on socials and then push everywhere regarding this new update. So all you need to do is to visit academy.midnight.network. If you are new, if you are seeing this for the first time, you need to sign up. I already signed up. That's why I have this. If you sign up, you have the same thing. And after sign up, you can navigate to the learn session where you would see the entire syllabus from blockchain fundamentals to zero knowledge proofs that teach you everything around zero knowledge proofs and how to get started. And then to the phase three that we just launched, where you could get started on building like hands-on implementation to build zero knowledge dApp. And also, the interesting thing about this session is that while going through all of the hands-on experience, we also have some interesting quiz to like kind of test your knowledge based off what you've learned and also how practical it is. And of course, we are also open to learn more about your experience. And also, if you have any feedback, please let us know. We'll be happy to like fix it as soon as possible. And also, if you have any suggestion on some of the things that we might be missing out or you think will be cool or probably something you'd like to see when you are learning on a particular platform or you're trying to use a part or curriculum to learn, if there's anything interesting you found somewhere and you think is cool for us to like integrate on this website, please let us know. I'll be happy to do that. So if you click on phase three, you see everything underneath, right? Development of your environment and the first steps, like things that you need to do, understanding Midnight architecture, building the architecture in practice. Okay, let me zoom in a bit just to make sure you guys can see. Yeah. All right, thank you. So we have you see different parts, different units here, from setting your development environment to understanding Midnight architecture, and then to building we have like a bulletin board app that we are all going to build throughout this phase of learning. And then we are also going to then deploy the project. And then finally, we have the capstone project that then extend whatever you've learned so far to continue building on it, right? So if there's anything that is hard to understand, or if there's anything that you don't really get the concept, please let us know. We're happy to improve on them, or probably explain, or like make more explainer content around it, right? So this is a text-based content, and it is quite practical for you to get started with. It also includes like code snippets. You can go through all of them, copy and paste into your IDE, and copy and paste things like as you wish. Also, another thing that we're planning to roll out, which is quite different from what you've seen so far, is some other additional modules based on some of the other things that we have coming. I don't want to spill so many information for now, but yeah, you all should stay tuned for some really other component-based learning, and then which is tailored towards a particular technology within the zero knowledge space, and also how you can then leverage that to build on top of Midnight. So this is something coming soon, but for now, this is what you have, and you can also, the way you've probably attempted, like, you know, the questions for previous phases, and then now we have a similar experience. The only thing is this particular one is quite hands-on, and you can get to try things out yourself and also learn during the process. So again, this is something that we've been working on and we are still working on. So if you find anything maybe that needs improvement, or you think could be done better, please let me know. I'll be happy to fix everything for you guys, just to make sure that you have like a really good experience. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to, you know, talk about. And it is live today. You can give it a try and let us know what you think.
Amazing. Thank you for the updates. I have like taken a peek at some of them, and I've learned a lot myself. Even things that I thought I had a good grasp on. Going through the fundamentals, the architecture has taught me a lot. So even if you've been in this space for a while, if you're familiar with Midnight, I definitely encourage you to check it out, because I think you'll be surprised. You still have a lot more to learn. And as Steph mentioned, if you want to look at tutorials, you want to see someone who's pumping out content, follow Idris across his platforms. He's constantly publishing different videos on Midnight and helping promote our education here. So thanks, Idris.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So I'll be here. If you have any question, please let me know. And also, we also have certification for this particular module. I forgot to mention. It's similar experience with what you already know with phase 1 and phase 2. We have certification. We have Zilli Point also. So once you're done, you can claim your Zilli Points. We also have the capstone project side, where you could build something. And also, you're not just building from scratch, right? Because we've gone through the hands-on process, then you can just extend whatever you've learned during that process, and then, you know, add additional functionality, then submit that particular capstone project and get your certification, and claim your point on Zilli. So it's as simple as that. The same flow, just new things to learn. Thank you very much.
Love it. I love that we're going from concept, all the fundamentals, to everything you need to build, to actually encouraging people to build different applications. Going through that entire process, you know, you learn everything you need and you come out with an application. So that's going to be an exciting time. I'm excited to see all your projects, the things that come out of this, and to see the builders who continue on from there. And with the certifications, I love it. I see people post on Twitter all the time. I just recently got certified, and seeing them go through the progression, it has been amazing.
Yeah, really, really amazing. I've been seeing a lot of updates, people sharing stuff. In fact, I've seen also like some people did not even share, but the data is already showing that we have like a lot more people that have tried and also gotten the certification, and they were like, what is next? Like, we need the next thing. I'm like, okay, we're coming, you know. So it's here, and we are not stopping here. There's a lot more to expect from different concepts, and also participate. I think we talked about Build Club today. So this is also like preparing every one of us, like, to equip us with things that we need. And also, if you are also part of the Elite program, please make sure you go through this, because when you're representing Midnight anywhere in the world, these are some of the fundamentals that you might need to explain to somebody, and you need to have a good understanding of it. So you can also go through it yourself. Some things you might have seen already, some might be completely new, because all of the content on this platform were, I want to use the word battle tested, the way they battle test like protocols, right? Like it went through like auditing and make sure that once you go through it, you have everything you need to become a builder. Yeah.
Amazing. And I love the notes that you mentioned about how, we're kind of prepping you through the education, through the building for some of our other programs like the Build Club, our pre-seed accelerator, and even potentially for Aliit. And that's what we would like to do over the long run, right? Is to connect the dots through these programs to take you from someone who doesn't know anything about blockchains in general. And we've had presentations with groups like that have never heard of blockchains.
Exactly.
We want to take you from learning about blockchains to deploying applications to, depending on what path you'd like to take. Some people will be building businesses. Some people will end up in jobs in different organizations. And we want to help you through that process and through your learning journey.
Yes, just take your time, enjoy it, like go at your own pace. And if you have any question, we also have like supporting videos on our YouTube in case you want to also see some other things or an explainer. And the good part is also, if you have like a particular concept that you don't understand, please let us know. We take all of this feedback, use that to create our explainer videos and make sure that we can cover all of these concepts with videos. So we have things coming up on dust, generating dust, night, how does night work, fungible and non-fungible tokens, a lot more that is currently in production, and you will be seeing all of this as soon as it's out there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Any last things you would like to share with the community, Idris?
Go midnight. Yeah. Yeah. So I think
we need more sound effects.
Yeah. I think we need that. So I think I'm really, really excited where we are today, and also so many exciting updates coming like this month. It's month of March. We're preparing for mainnet, so many other things that we're planning in parallel. So I'm really, really happy where we are today, and I'm also like bullish and rooting for anybody else out there that is currently building on midnight.
Same. So go midnight. Well, I want to thank you, Idris, for coming on stage, for celebrating the wins with the community, but also the different education paths that they can go down, and introducing the new module to everyone. So thanks, and I'm excited to see the projects that come out of the Academy. Okay, now we can go on to our next segment. So we covered our program updates, and now I'd like to introduce you to one of the builders in our community. Not only are we doing all these updates for the programs, but people are actively going through them, learning about Midnight, and starting to build. So with that said, I want to bring on Tushar to the stage. Tushar, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on with Midnight?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jay. Hi everyone, I am Tushar, and I'm a developer who loves both building and teaching. So over the past year, I have worked with about 45,000 people, helping them onboard to blockchain, and helped about 35,000 developers onboard to ecosystems like EVM, Solana, and Stellar. So recently I've started exploring Midnight ecosystem, and while experimenting with the developer stack, I built a prototype. So it's a basic privacy preserving escrow contract, and let me just share it. So
you can post the QR code to
Yeah.
your repo so that you can share with the community also. And you should be able to share your screen if you'd like to go through it. Awesome. If you can just zoom in a bit on your screen and make it a bit bigger.
Yeah. So it simply helps you deploy a escrow contract on Midnight, wherein the first person, let's say Alice wants to send money to Bob. So instead of directly giving money to Bob, we can create an escrow, and we can use ZK to send money, and let me just show you. So we just deployed one escrow contract on midnight. Then we created an escrow. This is created by Alice. So let's wait till the escrow is created.
So Alice creates an account, and then Bob is depositing funds to the account. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So escrow is created by Alice, and
Yeah.
just a second, let me restart it so it would be easy to understand.
And is this currently running on local
Pre-prod.
or pre-prod? Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, so escrow exists because the trust is usually bottleneck in the digital transactions. So if you look at most online transactions, these are the three risks. First, the buyer risk, which is the buyer pays upfront, hoping the seller delivers. The second risk would be seller risk, which is basically the seller delivers first, hoping they get paid. And the intermediary risk, which is basically traditional escrow solutions, which require trusted third party, which introduces custodial risk, fees, and zero privacy. So the goal here is simple. We build an escrow which is trustless, verifiable, and private. So let me just
And now all your funds are gone. We saw your seed.
yeah. So yeah, good thing. So we restored the wallet which was made by Alice for testing purposes.
And now it looks like we're syncing with the network. So it usually takes a minute or two for you to sync the data and grab it and see what's in the wallet.
Also, this escrow is two-party contract, which basically means you will require two people signing up to the same contract to even test it. You can't just test it with just one CLI or just one party. So I was just experimenting with this, and let's see.
Yeah. Hopefully, God of demos are with us today. And also, like, if you once you are done with this and then you clean up everything, please, I would like you to also submit it to the awesome DApp repo. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen that before. Yeah, please do well to submit it and tag the name accordingly. Would like things like these are things we want to share with the community, so they can see thought process from like different people on how things get implemented on midnight, and also like pick like best practices and all of that. By the way, thank you for building this.
So let's just walk through the escrow flow. We have two participants, Alice, who is the seller, and Bob, who is the buyer. First, Alice deploys the escrow contract at midnight and shares the contract address with her escrow identity. So, what escrow identity basically is, um, it basically gives you one hash which you can easily share it with the buyer, which helps the buyer to send the money to the same contract. Now, the first terminal which we used was for Alice to create the escrow. The second terminal which we are currently working on with is for the Bob. So the second participant is trying to get into the same contract, trying to add some money to the escrow. We'll just wait till it syncs with the network.
And while that syncs, one thing I want to note is that, as soon as you were working on this, you were publishing on Twitter, you were tagging us, and you also posted on the forum. And the first time I saw your projects, because you've entered several projects, was on the forum. So I just wanted to highlight that to encourage other people to post your projects onto the forum, because we are monitoring them. And it could be an opportunity for you to end up on the Dev Hangout as well. If you build something that's cool, that other people are interested in, it's a great opportunity to share your work.
For sure, I completely agree with that, because I wanted to get into touch with the team, and instead of me getting in touch with them, they reached out to me. So that's one of the best things which I have ever encountered with right now, because it's been a very tough thing to reach out to people working in such big organizations. And when people reach out to you from these such organizations just because you were active on posting with your applications, it's so good. So we will just enter the contract address which we got here. Just
So essentially the process is, you create an escrow
Yeah.
account, fund it, you have the other person go into the escrow account also. If you're running into issues now, it's perfectly fine. All of our updates are constantly being updated, even our example ones on our own. So perfectly understandable if for whatever reason you can't get it to run today.
my ZK proof server got crashed.
Okay, so for anyone watching, I definitely encourage you to scan the QR code. And then after this, Tushar, it would be awesome if you submit to the Awesome dApps repo. And
For sure.
one thing I'll cover a bit later is there's a couple of different topics and tags we would like everyone to add to their project, so that our reporting systems can pick them up and see that you're a developer within our network, that you're a unique developer, that you have particular projects. And I'll go over that in a bit. But is there anything else you would like to share, Tushar, or mention to the community?
Yeah. Okay. So currently, there are few design choices in this prototype, which makes it interesting. Uh, it uses the stable identity, which is instead of tying escrow rules directly to the wallet addresses, the system uses a deterministic identity, which helps participants to maintain a consistent identity across the interactions. What I would basically mean is, um, Bob deposits funds into the escrow contract. Let me just still try once again, if that's possible. Uh, and specifying Alice as the designated seller. This is what I meant with the public identity, which Alice just got here. So only Bob and Alice can easily enter into the same contract, which basically means if Bob enters some money into the escrow, only Alice would be able to see that money or even access that money, and the secret is created then. Let me just see if that works. It should work right now easily. And once Alice enters the secret, the contract verifies Alice knows the contract correct secret. This verifications happens using ZK. And once the proof is verified, the funds are released to Alice wallet.
That's
And the
awesome. I could
important,
see it. I was just going to say, I could see a ton of different applications for this, for different protocols where we're saving together, or, making like a massive purchase or something like that, and I need the property to be assigned over or given to me. So this has a ton of reusability in applications. So I encourage you all to check it out.
Okay, so yeah, so this small prototypes demonstrates how Midnight enables developers to build real financial primitives with strong privacy guarantees. In this case, we implemented a trustless escrow system, but the same approach can be extended to other use cases. Currently, I'm building one lending protocol, which I have created a structure of, and I'm currently working on the economics part for it. So yeah, that's about my prototype which I built, which is not currently working due to some issues in my laptop.
That's fine. I mean, some of our own repos, we run into bugs sometimes. Sometimes I want to show something and I run into an error and I'm like, oh, I need
Yeah.
to, work on it a bit more. So that's fine. Any comments or anything, Idris, that you have for Tushar?
Like, this is really incredible. I've just been here nodding my head, like, because I can see so many opportunities here, and also what you've done so far. Thanks for putting in the effort to like build and also share what you've been building. This is also another encouragement for anybody watching or listening right now. If you have been building in solo, please do well to share. Tag us, we'll definitely find it, and then we'll also bring you up here to come talk about what you're building. And particularly as we get closer to mainnet and even after mainnet, we want to keep having like resources, more code examples, more use cases for different things. And these are how we can build that repo for all of these contract samples or contract addresses, or even other implementations too. So yeah, thank you for coming once again.
Thank you, Tushar. Anything you
Thanks
want
a
to
lot.
share with the community last?
Just build on Midnight. If you are even focusing in getting into ZK or not, just build on Midnight. You'll love it. That's my
Nice. Thank you for the endorsement. I appreciate it. So thanks for coming onto the stage, for joining us. I'll follow up with you after on your repos. Make sure we get into the awesome dApps so other people can discover it. And we'll see what's the best way we can support you on your developer journey. So thank you for joining.
Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Awesome. All right. So finally, let's cover some brief updates from the DevRel teams, some things that are on top of our minds. We're actively updating our docs. So if you haven't checked them out, they've been updated with our pre-prod information. If you want to start deploying, I started deploying last week. We've seen a couple of people in the build club already deploy their applications. So we're ramping up. Now is the time to take a look at our docs, give us some feedback. It's all open source. So even if you see an issue, you can contribute directly to our repos, open up an issue, or open up a PR. So I encourage you to check out our most recent updated docs. Now, to prepare teams for pre-prod deployment, we created a few different Z requests that I'd like to pull up for you to see. So I'll actually, let me see, start sharing my screen and see if I can share this. All right, so you should be able to see my Z request screen in a moment. You can see that here, and let me zoom in. So we have this section here now. It's called Road to Mainnet. And I encourage you all to go through these because what it'll do is prepare you for pre-prod, give you all the information you need for pre-prod deployment. But then I want to highlight this other section here about updating your README and your repos. So we'd like to get all of our repos in our community into the Electric Capital report. If you're not familiar, it's developer reporting for all of Web3 ecosystems. So you can see how many developers are on Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, all the other ecosystems. And the way that data is gathered is by pulling in information from your repo. It's looking for specific topics, for specific tags. So if you go through these 3 Z requests here, these 2 in particular, you'll have all the information you need to update your repos to contain that information, and then it'll automatically be pulled into the Electric Capital report. So if you haven't already, please go to the Road to Mainnet section and start working on those Z requests. It's not only great exposure for you, but it's also great exposure for our ecosystem, and it'll put us on the map for other developers. So that's the Z request. And I already mentioned why it was important for you all to fill that out. So for teams that plan to go to mainnet, there is going to be a period where you have to gather your knights, you have to generate dust. So what we've done is we put together this form for you all to fill out. It's called the project readiness form. If you are planning to deploy to mainnet and maybe you need dust or you need additional technical support, definitely scan that, reach out to us, let us know what you're working on so we can see how we can best support you. Now, over the next couple of weeks, as Idris mentioned earlier, we'll be pumping out a bunch of different examples, tutorials. We already have a ton that are in the queue. And I think our team's even like having a little bit of trouble keeping up at this point with reviews and stuff. But stay tuned over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a ton of examples available for you. We're even making updates to the MN Create package. I don't know if you want to kind of briefly mention something there, but
yes, we've done, that's even true, like we've done like quite a lot of updates in the last few weeks just to make sure that all our packages, all our solutions and examples are up to date. We've done a lot of update on the docs. We shared that last week, some of the examples on the docs also, and particularly for the Create MN app. So if you have heard about it before or seen it on our docs before, where you could quickly spin up your a boilerplate for any application or any examples that we have. Either it's Hello World application, counter application, Bboard. We have kitties, midnight kitties coming up soon. We have a lot more that we want to include on that particular repo. That package would be housing a lot of examples that you can quickly spin up, so you don't have to always go through like Hello World or try to find example on our docs. You can always just run the npm command for the package, and then you can pull down any network, any examples that you want to play with. So, but most importantly, it's also serve as a centralized place where you can find all of these examples in one particular place. So what we have today is probably, if you go through like awesome that repo, you see a lot of examples, then you have to click through and check. But the one on the package, the MN package, is called Create MN App today. That's what it's called. So once you run npx create MN app, you get a prompt to select what package you want to run, and then you pick from the option, and the command line guides you like through the remaining commands, and you can see that and test that locally. So what that means is that you can quickly just clone like examples and also like get started immediately without having to go and start from scratch every now and then, right? So do well to check that out. We'll also be updating the docs to make sure that we have all of these things in place. We've already updated the package, so you can check out npx create MN app. Then you follow through the instructions there to get started.
Awesome. And I see Aggie, yes, Midnight Kitties. I can finally get it done. Thank you. We're going to migrate that repo over to our org. So there you'll be able to see it, and then we'll update the Create MN package so that you can also just pull that in whenever you need it.
Yeah.
And I see Coast. Coming soon. And I see Costas. You said, can you repeat the name? Can you add more context there? If you're talking about the Electric Capital report, it's Electric Capital. You can find it on their website. They do monthly updates on the state of different ecosystems and the developers involved. So you can take a look at that. And I think before that I mentioned Zeely. It's a zeely.io. You can find our Midnight community there, or look back at the video to see the scans. But that looks like all the questions for today. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that at the top of the call, Tom mentioned that like for the Build Club, even if you're learning, even if you're brand new, we still encourage you to apply. And we have a bunch of different tools that you can use. And I just wanted to highlight again, Idris's MCP server. If you're new to the community and the organization, definitely check that out. It'll help you write some code, and it's getting better and better every day. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Any last things you want to share with the community, Idris?
Yeah, I think we're good to go. We are doing our best to make sure that you have all the tools and also equipping you with whatever you need to build an application on Midnight, and also build a privacy preserving app. So if you find any feedback that you want to share, please do well to share. We'll be happy to respond to everything. And also if it's improvements, please let us know. We are always open to feedback and also making sure that we can incorporate all of that. Yeah, so for me, I think that's all from my end.
All right, awesome, Idris. Thank you for all the updates for the academy, for everything you're doing for the community. It's been awesome working with you.
Thank you too.
I want to thank you all for joining our call today. That's the end of our Dev Hangouts. I hope to see you all in our Discord channels, asking questions in the dev chats, filling out some of the Zealy quests, applying to our various different programs, and we'll all be in touch soon. So I want to thank you all for joining today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Bye, guys.